Hey guys, welcome along to Hellmouth Hotline. I'm your host, Rodney Stewart, and we're getting into one of the best episodes. Excuse me. We're going to have a little chat about one of the best episodes in the entire run of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer spin-off, Angel. It is the season 1 episode 14, entitled I've Got You Under My Skin. This one here, before we go any further, if you have not seen this episode, or you're not familiar with either, if you're listening to this podcast, it'd be pretty crazy if you haven't delved into either Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Angel. But having said that, if you haven't, particularly this episode, definitely go check out the episode itself. If you're not even 100% up on the story of Angel, this is one of these episodes that can kind of stand on its own, other than that little piece of Doyle that happens later in the episode. But this is one of these episodes that's just class, absolute brilliant piece of storytelling that you think you're up with what's going on in the story, and then you get that little piece near the end where it kind of flips the story on its head slightly, or you think everything's happening run-of-the-mill sort of possession story, exorcist sort of a deal. It goes so far, and then at the end it kind of gives you a bait and switch that I had forgotten about. Now, that loved this episode the first time around as well, and I was like, that's fantastic, that was so well done. But it's been a heck of a lot of years since I'd watched this episode in particular, and I'd forgotten about the twist coming up at the end of it. So I haven't watched it again recently for this podcast. Yes, it was just as tasty now as it was way back in the year 2000 when this was first aired. So yes, it's the Exorcist episode for Angel. Cordelia, she's got visions of a boy in trouble. Angel and Wesley, they have to battle with their first exorcism, but everything's not as it seems with this child that's possessed by a 10,000-year-old demon. So in the episode itself, Wesley, he's showing off his newest addition to his collection of weaponry from back in the day, and he's so excited. This here is a weapon that can take out a certain type of demon. It'd be handy to have this. And Angel's like, well, that would be if the demon in particular you're talking about wasn't extinct. So Cordelia, she's making brownies, and she takes the dagger, the knife, the weapon that Wesley's been talking about to start cutting the brownies with. And of course, he's not having any of this here. He knows that's you should have more respect for that weapon and what it's meant for. But Angel, he's watching Cordelia and Wesley bicker and fight with each other, and he tries to make peace and inadvertently calls Wesley Doyle. So this takes the wand out of Angel, and he's, Cordelia does say in the episode, Angel doesn't talk about Doyle anymore, so there's a moment where they have a moment about this. But anyway, we cut from them to another argument that's going on between a brother and a sister. They're squabbling over toys until their mother tells them that it's bedtime. The kids kind of protest until their father steps in, lays down the law, and tells them they have to get to their bed. After the parents took their children in, the father tells the mother that just kind of gets her to step out of the way, and he padlocks the daughter's door, and one's labelled Ryan, who's already padlocked for the night. So the two kids are put to bed and locked in their rooms. And, the mother's like, do we really have to do this? And the father, he's very cold in the way that he's acting towards his wife and these two kids. But they're locked up anyway. And that's, opening credits of the episode happens at this point. Back at the offices of Angel Investigations, Cordelia insists that Angel talk with her about the friend that they both miss, Doyle, of course. Just as Angel begins to express the guilt he carries over the manner of Doyle's death, Cordelia gets the vision of this kid in trouble. Angel and Wesley stake out the house that Cordelia has seen in the vision. Everything seems quiet. They're about to leave. Wesley spots the kid walking across the yard in his pajamas. As he's walking onto the street, he nearly gets hit by a car, but Angel leaps out, saves him, and they roll onto the grass. Noticing the scrape on Angel's shoulder, the boy, who seems unconcerned about the incident, asks Angel if he's going to cry. Angel jokingly pretends to consider it and finally decides that he doesn't think he will. And the kid at this point smiles. So he's Angel breaking the shell of this kid, to try and get his trust, to see what's going on as far as this vision that Cordelia had. At that moment, the boy's father comes running out of the house and begins to shout at the kid. The boy's mother also rushes out, and she's thanking Angel for saving their son, Ryan. And despite her husband's reluctance, she invites Angel inside with an offer to tend to the wound that he has in his arm. And he accepts, while her husband, Seth, puts Ryan back to bed. Paige tends to the scrape on Angel's arm. She's shocked to notice that it seems to be healing with, this was a heck of a lot worse than if you come in here. And Angel, he's kind of like, it's just a scratch. Of course, he's a vampire, so he'll heal very, very quick. Shocked to notice, Paige is distracted when Angel returns to the subject of their family. She seems too anxious to be truly forthcoming and stops talking altogether when Seth returns to the living room. So there's it's a nice bait and switch throughout the entire episode, because you've got the father figure here in the family that every time he shows up or opens his mouth to lay down the law, everybody kind of just jumps in line and they seem to be scared of him. But so every time Angel's trying to get something out of the mother, the father will come in and ruin everything, more or less. So Angel begins to probe more deeply for information such as how their son got out of his room, as well as where they think he was going and why. Seth, the father, he's sitting across, and he's like, you never told us your name, so every time Angel's trying to get information, the father is trying to get something out of him. He's like diverting Angel's questions. So Angel tells him, my name's Angel, at which point Paige reveals that she collects actual angels, little statues of angels. She's convinced that he's been sent there to help him, especially since he refuses all offer of payment or, recompense. Paige insists on inviting him to supper the following night as a thank you. Seth openly disapproves, and Angel uses her enthusiasm to his advantage and asks her, what can I bring? So while Angel is inside the house, Wesley's poking around the outside, finds this glowing kind of slime outside that's called placticine, if memory serves right. Similar to ectoplasm that you would see in Ghostbusters. It's coming from the foundations all around the house. Back at the car, comparing notes, Angel and Wesley conclude that someone in the family is possessed by a demon, and though he doesn't express it until later, Angel strongly suspects the father. So the Andersons' daughter, Stephanie, watches expressionlessly from her window as they drive away. So there's a good few moments in this episode where you're kind of, everybody suspected at one point or another, other than the mother, more or less. She's the only real open character. So you've got the two kids and the father. So, you know, you're already suspecting the father and the daughter at this point. Back at the office, Angel and Wes bring Cordelia up to speed. Further research, including the background check on the Anderson family, determines that they were dealing with a powerful, fully developed, mass-murdering Ephros demon, or Ephros demon. Despite Angel's suspicions about the father, the only way to be sure which family member is possessed is to have each ingest eucalyptus powder, which will force the demon to manifest itself. They mix the powder with Cordelia's brownies, a plateful that Angel brings to as a gift when he arrives at the Andersons for dinner. After a bit of a uncomfortable meal, Paige brings out the brownies for dessert. Seth tells the protesting kids that this will be their treat for tonight, so with no hot chocolate. As everybody starts to take a bite, Angel is watching Seth so closely that it isn't until Stephanie starts screaming that he sees the demon horrifically manifesting in the kid, Ryan. The boy spasms and partially transforms, and his frantic mother accuses Angel of poisoning her son, and unexpectedly, Seth comes to Angel's support at this point and urging Paige to admit that something has been truly wrong with the boy since long before Angel turned up. Eventually, although the face remains disfigured, Ryan grows, tired, he's asleep. Paige and Seth agree to an exorcism. Taking the opportunity to speak to Angel, Seth expresses his gratitude for this chance at hope and healing for his son and his family. So, yes, as I say, a lot of good bait and switch and here in this episode. So at this point, you're fully convinced that it was the father that was the one that was possessed. There's a little moment there before the demon manifests where Seth actually starts to kind of choke on one of the brownies himself. So for a split second, Angel's like, okay, here we've got him. The father has the demon in him. At that point, the daughter starts screaming and you realise it's the kid. Very, very well shot and directed episode. Having asked Seth to arrange care for Stephanie, Angel takes the rest of the Anderson family to Angel Investigations, where the team has made preparations. Wesley carries the still sleeping Ryan, puts him in Angel's bed. Cordelia establishes a magic circle of protection around the bed with a binding powder she pours from this flask sort of a thing. Stressing that Ryan is not himself anymore, Angel warns Seth and Paige, the mother and father, that they risk being killed if they break the barrier or go anywhere near the boy. Leaving Cordy in charge, Angel and Wesley try to make contact with the priest that has the reputation to be the exorcist for this sort of thing. Upon arriving at the church, an old nun informs them that Father Fredericks died during his last exorcism attempt, and she warns that an Ephros is a more powerful demon that killed the father, is even more dangerous than what Angel is. There's a nice moment there where whenever they turn up, she steps up from her prayer. She's down on her knees, of course, in the chapel, and she looks at Angel and she says, "You would enter a place of God," and he's like, that's not what you think. And she's like, "No," and at that point she brings her cross over towards his hand and he jumps back, so she senses that he's a vampire. That's a very well shot sequence in the episode. But this priest that they're after is dead because of an exorcism that went wrong. The demon was an Ephros that he was exorcising from a family member of a different family altogether. The demon killed the father, and so it's a more powerful demon and more dangerous than what Angel, being a vampire, would be. Wesley points out that he himself will have to be the one to do the exorcism, as Wesley dips holy water from the font. Angel argues that Wesley is physically, emotionally, and spiritually unprepared to do this exorcism. Angel states that he'll do the exorcism himself. However, Wesley makes the point by tossing a cross at Angel, who, out of a reflex catches it, then just as much as a reflex drops it, because of course the cross is going to burn him. So he says that wasn't right, but Wesley's like, "Well, I think I made my point." So they agree. Angel agrees reluctantly. "All right, Wesley, you can do the exorcism, but I'm going to be with you every step of the way." Meanwhile, back at the apartment, Ryan has regained consciousness and commences tormenting Paige with guilt at leaving him abandoned and alone in the dark. Just as Paige's resolve breaks and rushes to her son's side, Angel and Wesley return. He screams at the last second to stop, but she breaks the binding powder. The demon telekinetically prevents them from coming to Paige's rescue, while he tries to throttle her with Ryan's small hands. After a few minutes of this, Wesley and Angel rush into the bedroom, manage to pull Paige from Ryan's chokehold, but their efforts to send the demon, they come to the rescue, and Wesley uses like an incantation to break the demon's hold on the mother, but this only sends the demon deeper into the child, which is not what they were looking to do at this point. The boy again lapses into unconsciousness. Angel unapologetically and harshly rips into the parents, repeats his warnings to Paige and Seth. Do this our way, or the kid's done for, more or less. Angel, he starts to check on Cordelia's progress with further research and learns that once an Ephros demon is expelled, it automatically possesses the nearest warm body. The only way to prevent this is by obtaining a rare box, an Ephros box, that will imprison the demon once it's expelled from the body. Kind of like a ghost trap made out of wood. But so Angel gives Cordelia the address of a shop that he knows downtown, Rick's Magic and stuff, and she leaves immediately to go try and find this box. Angel stays behind to keep an eye on things and help Wesley prepare for the ritual. Rick's, however, they don't have an Ephros box, so Cordy instead buys a short shack box. The box is intended for another type of demon, but Rick warns her that it might be tied across the shoulders for larger Ephros. So there's a bit of comedy in there as well in that sequence where, Cordelia's trying to get this box, and your guy, he's selling a different type of box, and it's almost as like he's selling a sports jacket or something, but tied across the shoulders, but it might be okay. while she's at the shop getting this thing, Wesley begins the exorcism. He manages to raise the demon far enough to animate the boy once more, and he starts the opening lines of the ritual. And during the Aphros taunts about his inadequacies as a youth, as a watcher, Wesley starts to get visibly more distracted and vulnerable as the exchange continues. Angel intervenes, and the Aphros demon twists Wesley's newfound devotion towards Angel and reveals that he's actually planning to kill Angel. So this demon is going after all the weak spots and everybody that it comes across here in this episode. As far as the mother went after her, leaving the kid on his own, you're a bad mother sort of thing, why are you leaving me sort of deal. Wesley, of course, has his insecurities. The demon's playing on that, and of course Angel comes in at this point, and the demon's like, are you going to tell him that you're going to kill him, more or less? At which point this really throws Wesley off. He blasts the demon, and Ryan focusing his wrath through the cross. That he tries his hardest to come at the demon, because of the demon really going after his weak points. The Aphros suddenly forces Wesley to stab himself in the neck with the heavy cross that he's holding. So there's a few real graphic moments on here that you're not expecting. So well done. So, at this point, all seems lost. Angel rushes to Wesley's side, gets the cross out of his neck, and presses a cloth in the wound, helps him from the room. Cordelia returns to the... Am I jumping ahead in my notes here? Yeah, so suddenly, everything... They're having a meeting in the kitchen. There's Wesley there. There's Angel. There's the mother and father. And Angel's laying down the law. He's like, Wesley, you're knocking on there again. The thing could have killed you. At which point, all hope seems lost at this point. And then the bit that I wasn't expecting either. There's a moment where they're questioning what they're going to do with the kid. At that moment, the room starts to shake, and amongst the toys been rattled about that was brought with the kids, this bag of marbles spills over, and they arrange themselves onto the words on the tabletop. It says, "Save me." So at this point, Angel's like, what are we going to do here? Is this like, the kid calling out for help? Using the demon's power to try and say, come get me, save me, sort of thing. The Aphros, who has made Ryan sit up again, continues to taunt Angel when the demon seems to channel Doyle. You hear that moment, and even saying it now made the hairs in the back of my neck stand up. It was just so well done within the episode, where one of the last things Doyle said to Angel before he died was the good fight, yeah. And just as the tension's starting to build, you hear Doyle's voice coming from the other room saying, the good fight, yeah. At which point Angel looks across with anger in his face towards the Aphros demon, and the demon, he's like, guess who's here, Angel? Doyle wants to know why you let him die, sort of thing. So at which point Angel's like, he knows the incantations of an exorcism. He's been alive for a long, long time. So he wraps a cloth around his hand to protect himself from holding a cross, and he lifts the cross and heads on towards the kid, lifts the book with the incantation. At which point Cordelia turns up with this box, and he's like, get it ready. He's that intent and angry at getting in to exorcise the demon from this kid, that he doesn't take the time to listen to Cordelia trying to explain that, this isn't the proper box that you were looking for. It's similar, but it's not right. But he's just like, get the box ready. He goes in, puts the cross in the kid's chest, starts blasting out the exorcism, and drives the demon out of the kid there and then. At which point the demon comes out. Of course, Angel's already dead, been a vampire. There's no body heat there, so he's safe from the demon as far as repossessing somebody goes. So it flies towards the door, hits the box. The whole point of this box was it would draw the demon in, which it does, but unfortunately not being the right box. The demon manages to break through it, but that also protects everybody else in the room. So, of course, nobody gets killed, nobody gets repossessed. The demon has escaped. Yes, having been expelled from the boy, the demon not being able to repossess someone is going to have to take corporeal form to recharge itself. I'll need to ingest some salt to get its strength back. So they're thinking, salt water. They head off, Damon and Wesley, to hunt the demon down, and they do. They track the demon down, and there's a moment where Wesley tries to explain to Angel that what the demon said about me planning to kill you, and Angel reassures Wesley, says, I know you're not planning to kill me, Wesley, but you're willing to, and that's a good thing. So at this point, they manage to track the physical demon down, and before they have the final confrontation where Angel kills the demon confesses that what way did it happen within the episode. Wesley gets at him about, of course, the taunting that the demon put everybody through. Now it's Wesley's turn to get at the demon himself and say, you big bully, bullying children, possessing children and whatnot, and, corrupting the souls of the innocent. And to which the first demon says, what soul? And he then tells him, he's like, everything that I fear in my existence, I found in the child. There was nothing there. There was no soul to corrupt. It was the darkest hell I've ever known. And at which point, Angel starts to realise, he's like thinking back to the save me message in the marbles. He was like, that was you calling out for help, not the boy. At which point the demon nods his head and he says, now that you bring death, I don't fear it. Everything that I did fear was in that house with that kid. At which point Wesley's like, we're going to have to hurry here. The kid's back with his parents. And the demon's like, yes, you do have to hurry. So this demon that possessed the kid, and the definition of evil at the end of the episode is like, kill me if you must, I don't care, but you need to go save this family, sort of thing. So you start to see the one character from the episode you're expecting to be evil and corrupt the whole time, and is, in all fairness, is also that voice of common sense at the end of the episode. You need to go help these people. So at which point Angel lifts his sword, kills the demon. We cut over to the family's home again, and Ryan isn't happy because of the hot chocolate they're getting before bed. His sister has more mushrooms in it. His sister's got more little marshmallows and her hot chocolate than he has. But later, after they're put to bed, Ryan gets up and he douses the house in petrol and sets fire to it in the hopes of killing everybody, his family and his sister, particularly his sister. He fills her room full of petrol, lights it, and he's just standing there watching as the fire takes hold of the family home, at which point Angel breaks through the window of the house, rescues the daughter. Wesley breaks in and gets the family and Ryan out. At the end of the episode, the kid has been taken in to be looked at, psychologically. The father's question, what's going to happen here? And Kate Lockley has shown up at this point, and she's like, he's going to be taken downtown. He'll be assessed, and we'll take it from there, more or less. So, at the end of the episode, Angel and the father, there's a moment where he thanks Kate for coming and checking out what's going on. Of course, everything that's going on with those two is a completely different story than what's happening in this episode. So she kind of just acknowledges Angel, that she's there doing her job, and she leaves. And the father says to Angel at the end, he says, all I wanted to do was protect my family. I'm not going to be able to cover for him anymore and whatnot. And Angel reassures him at the end, well, I think you did protect your family. At which point, you see the shot of his wife and daughter standing there, hugging each other and whatnot. And the father goes back and puts his arm around his mother and, comforts his daughter. At which point the episode closes out. I absolutely loved this episode because, as I say, it's one of these ones that it's one of these episodes that has just got a nice bit of storytelling, has that little bait and switch that you're really not expecting. Fantastic. So if you're still here at this point of the episode and you've never watched this series of Angel, I do apologise for destroying this one for you, but it is what it is. It's a class episode, probably one of the best episodes in the entire run of Angel, and one that I enjoy going back and checking out every once in a while. It is kind of it's the Exorcist story, but it's kind of like more palatable Exorcist story. It's like the sort of thing that you would easily see on TV, but not as hardcore as what you would see in a movie. But yeah, just beautifully shot, beautifully acted, and yes, it's kind of like it keeps you looking at one hand while they're doing stuff with the other hand. That's a nice magic trick of an episode. Fantastic. Right, that's going to do it. I'm going to cut the episode here. Been talking a lot longer than I was expecting to, and if I go any longer, this podcast episode will actually be longer than the actual episode we're talking about. So guys, whatever you're doing, until the next episode, stay safe, and I will talk to you all then. This has been a production of Coins Age Media. Thank you so much for listening.